Hi there everybody and welcome back to another video on the Toon Review YouTube channel. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for tuning in to your latest Newcastle United news. Obviously if you do enjoy the video guys, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel and like what you see, please hit that subscribe button, which is free to do so, but also don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a future upload like this or any of our live shows. Now, quite a bit to get into today. First of all, regarding the injuries, of course, there was a lot of worry about Bruno and Joe Willock ahead of the game at Selhurst Park on Saturday. Would they be fit after picking up slight knocks on Monday night against West Ham? Well, the situation with Bruno is he is expected to be fit to play. However, he hasn't been photographed in any of the Newcastle United training photos. Now, we know there could be reasons for this. Eddie Howe has done this before and specifically left certain players who could possibly take part in the game out of any of the training photos. He's done it before. Now, he may be doing this again just to throw Crystal Palace off the scent and maybe give them the idea that Bruno might not be fit to play in the game. Obviously, we'll hear more from Eddie Howe tomorrow on the injury front, but Bruno hasn't been pictured in any of the training photos. Joe Willock has. He has been in training, in full training as well, so it's expected that he will be fit to play at Selhurst Park on Saturday, but we're not sure what formation Eddie Howe might go with. After what happened against West Ham, will he change it again? Will he look to maybe bring Barnes back on the left and put Gordon on the right? Or will he try and mix it up a little bit? Because we need a little bit of a change, I guess, guys, after a very, very poor performance on Monday night. So having those two players available will be huge for us. Because, yes, Bruno and Willock didn't particularly play well on Monday night, but they are two of our more elite players, and we need them available. Certainly Joe Willock with his horrendous injury background. They will be certainly not taking any chances on Joe Willock, making sure that he's 100% fit going into the game, because we don't want him to break down again. And Bruno, it was a glute injury apparently with Bruno, so will he play, will he not? Hopefully we'll hear more from Eddie Howe in his press conference tomorrow, but they should, according to reports, be fit for the game, but time will tell, guys. Now, Miguel Almirón, it has been confirmed that Newcastle are looking to sell the Paraguayan in January. Obviously, you know, we've expected this, I kind of guessed. Certainly he's not been used by Eddie Howe very much. He wasn't even a substitute on Monday night when we really needed attacking players on the field. Miggy wasn't an option. And that just tells me a story, guys. It really does. It basically says to me that, you know, your time is up, sunshine. You're not basically going to be needed for Newcastle United. If there was ever a time that Eddie Howe could turn to Miggy in desperate times, was Monday night, and he didn't use him at all. So that says to me that Miggy will be on his way. Apparently Saudi Arabia is his preferred destination, which I was surprised about. I thought he maybe would look at going back to the MLS or certainly somewhere else in Europe maybe. One of the top leagues in Europe that maybe isn't as competitive as the Premier League. I might have thought that he'd have gone somewhere like that, but apparently he's open to a move to Saudi, and there is Saudi teams interested in him. There's no transfer fee being mentioned in any of the reports linking Miggy away with the club, but that will be something I'm sure that will be discussed you know, between now and any sort of transfer that happens with Miggy in the winter. So it looks like he is on his way. You know, I know he's a fan favourite with a lot of people, but let's be honest, he's not in Eddie Howe's plans now, and Eddie's starting to move forward from Miggy, which is probably good to see because I think his time is up. Now, Callum Wilson has also spoken out. Of course, he made his comeback against West Ham at the weekend and looked quite lively, actually. I was very surprised at how free-flowing Callum was moving. Should have won a penalty, of course. He looked very, very hungry for goals. He's since come out and stated that he wants to hit the Premier League 100 club. He wants to keep scoring goals for Newcastle United. And he's changed the way he sort of sleep pattern, his food. And he's took a lot of time during his injury spell to look at the human body and improve himself so he can try and stay fit. And, you know, hats off to him for doing that. At least he's not just sitting around sulking. He's doing something to try and make sure that he gets back and stays fit and on the pitch for Newcastle United. Now, one thing he was asked was about Eddie Howe possibly playing Isak and Wilson as a pair. And Callum says we're very different players with different profiles. So it's very doubtful that Eddie Howe would ever start a game, you know, with them both up front. Now, Isak can play left side, of course, we know that. But then again, we've got players to cover that position. So Callum was very sort of doubtful that Eddie Howe would ever use the two together. He said they'd only play together when the manager sees fit. Now, that's going to be certainly when we're losing games, we're struggling in games, we need goals. I can only see that happening, to put Isak and Wilson together. He did it at Brentford last season, of course. It paid off massively there because we came back and won the game, of course. So having them both fit is good. But what Callum did mention was that they can push each other. And that's what I think Isak has missed. He's missed that push from another fantastic striker on the bench. He hasn't really felt the pressure. Now, when Isak feels the pressure of Wilson breathing down his neck for a starting place, that's when you see strikers step up. And Callum said exactly the same. If he's on the pitch, he knows that Isak's there in the waiting. He has to perform. He has to score goals, but also perform on the pitch. If he's not performing, he knows that Isak's there to take his place and vice versa. So there is very much competition there. But he said it's great because they push each other. When they're both fit, they push each other. It's not like there's any sort of animosity or anything. They're very good friends, and they like to push each other because it improves both their games. So if we can get that from Callum and we can get that from Isak, then I think it can only benefit Newcastle United. He mentioned sharing the load with the goals as well. He knows that Newcastle United haven't scored anywhere near enough goals this season, and that's why he hopes that his comeback will help that, and they can both feed into the same programme and get the goals that Newcastle United need. He says very important that strikers such as himself and Isak hit the back of the net on a regular occurrence, because that's what they're there to do. That is their position. They're there to score goals, and they need to keep that up. It's got to be consistent and it's got to be good. And, the way he's talking, Callum Wilson, you have to say that he's really... back from this injury with a big hunger to prove to a lot of people that he wants to stay around and he wants to be in that team. So let's just see how it goes with Callum. I'm sure he'll be on the bench again on Saturday at Selhurst Park, and Isak knows that. So let's see if we get that real step up from Isak. But until we start playing to Isak's game, I don't see what else we can do. We have to play to his game to get him performing, which is, we haven't done that at the minute. Now, an interesting interview from Loris Karius, of course, the former Newcastle United goalkeeper. He has admitted that he was offered a 1-year extension to his contract, but he turned it down. And he turned it down simply because it didn't fit. It wasn't the right fit for him. He wasn't going to get a lot of football, so he didn't seem... he didn't want to sign it. And you can understand that. At the time when he's offered that contract, maybe Karius thought he'll go elsewhere, he'll start again and be a number one somewhere. He was very disappointed last season that he didn't get more football when Nick Pope was injured. And quite frankly, I agree with him, because he's sitting there watching Dubravka and make Dubravka make mistake after mistake after mistake and still be ahead of him in the reckoning and the starting position. We all said it. We all said, give Karius a go. Give Karius a few games, because Dubravka wasn't performing. But for some reason, Eddie didn't play him and then offers him a new contract. You can understand why Karius decided to try and find pastures new. He thanked the fans and said the fans were absolutely terrific, best fans in the world. And thank you for sticking by him. And when he stepped in the Carabao Cup final, he got nothing but support after that game. And he will always remember that. Unfortunately for Karius himself, he hasn't managed to find a club. So at the moment, he's still a free agent. And what really hit me was that he said, at times like this, you do consider retirement. And that's really sad, because I think he's still got plenty of years left in him to do a good job for another team. I genuinely think that his reputation was hurt by that cup final for Liverpool. I mean, we keep going back to it, but I'm convinced he was injured. I think Jurgen Klopp completely threw him under the bus, and it just wasn't his fault. I think that the challenge with Ramos early in the game, he was concussed. You could see quite clearly he wasn't with it, but it's really sad for Karius, because I think he's a good character, he's a good goalkeeper, and probably deserved a little better. And it's unfortunate now that he's actually considering retirement because of not being able to find a new club. But hopefully he will. I mean, certainly for us as Newcastle United fans, we really do wish him the best, and hopefully finds a new club and gets a few more years under his career. So good luck to Karius. But there it is. That is the news, guys. Please do, as usual, comment below about the stories today. What do you think about Miggy? I mean, you know, we spoke about it many, many times. Do you think Bruno and Willock will make an appearance on Saturday? Because I certainly do. I think Eddie's been very coy with Bruno and not put him in the training pictures for a particular reason. He wants to throw the opposition off. He's done it before, and he'll do it again many, many, many times. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Please do give it a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course subscribe if you're new. And we will see you, if you're watching this on Thursday, we'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock for the Crystal Palace match preview. We'll take a deep dive into both sides. We'll see how Palace might line up, and then we'll try and put a Newcastle lineup together to try and bounce back from that awful defeat against West Ham. And a big thank you to our sponsors, Mamaroo Records. Thank you very much to Steve. If you're ever in Whitley Bay, please do pay him a visit. They're right in the centre. If you're into your vinyl records or certainly music merchandise, Mamaroo Records is the place to go. Have a word with Steve. Tell him you're a Toon Review subscriber, and I'm sure he'll do you a good deal. If you can't get in there to visit, please make sure you click the link at the top of the description, as they do have a website as well. Perfect time to order now in time for Christmas to all your music lovers out there. But thank you very much for watching. We'll see you back for the preview. Take care.